welcome back to Pinne Knits with me, Sarah. It feels really awkward. Anyway, hello, I am Sarah. This is Pinne Knits. Pinne being Norwegian for both stick and knitting needle, and this is a space where I talk about knitting and talk about life and how I use sticks or nature in my life. Cybill is also with us, as per. She was arguing with me a minute ago, pleasing for God knows what. If you're new here, this is Cybill. She's a miniature English Bull Terrier. She doesn't know that. She thinks she's a human. I'm currently putting a blanket on her because she's too cold. So if I do this, she might just go to sleep and not steal the show like last time. Anyway, hello. It is Friday. I actually don't know what the date is. It's the 17th of April. We're like halfway through April already. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, so how is everyone? It has been Easter. Here in the UK, they have 2 weeks Easter break at school, so I've done a couple of days at work, and then I've been at home with my daughter and my husband, who is kind of suffering a bit at the moment, bless him. And so yeah, we've had a really lovely time. Me and Evie went off to Warwick Castle one of the days, which was fantastic. Had like nights on horses, and Evie is horse obsessed, so that was yeah, pretty good for her. There was like a birds of prey show. It was really good actually. I was really impressed. It's pricey to go, but I guess during the summer they put on more of these kind of shows. They do jousting and things like that. So actually, if you are going to spend some money on kind of like a proper day out, it kind of is worth the money. But anyway, we went for lots of walks, obviously. I'm doing again, looking at my notes, because my brain is an actual sieve. I forget everything. I couldn't even tell you what happened yesterday without really thinking about it. And that's something actually I might talk about a bit later, but like mental health wise, that is something I've had to learn to cope with. And it's not brain fog, it's just load. When things are going on in your life and then you're having to adjust what you're coping with, remembering what happened yesterday isn't your brain's priority. Being able to function today and know what's going on tomorrow or for the week is what's necessary. So I've found that, I mean, I wasn't great at remembering before anyway, but I find that when things are tricky or a bit difficult, even like short-term memory is just, it takes a minute for me to remember. So I do have my notes again. I am going to look at them because I don't remember stuff. Oh, I tell you what else we did. So Evie is really got on it. This looks a bit manky, so don't judge. Don't know if you can see. It's just, oh, hair, pressure. It's just a cotton, you know, like embroidery thread with some hammer beads. She started making, like, I say the friendship blanket. Ugh. Friendship bracelets, not a blanket. And she wanted some more thread, so she had these little balls of like cotton yarn, essentially, isn't it? And so I thought, well, do you know what? I know that has cotton thread that's usually quite thin. It's just get in there. So one of the days we went off to, there's one in Gloucester, which is the closest to us, and there was like a wall of all of them. So she got yarn. She added to a stash. She got, I think, maybe 6, 7 different colours. Really pretty actually, because they're quite pastel-y. There's not anything, I think, in there that's hugely bright. And I may have picked something up, but I had to, because, I mean, cheap and cheerful. I would be stupid not to, but I'll show you that in a little bit. Oh yeah, and it was Easter weekend, so I had my brother and sister-in-law. They live kind of Carmarthen way in Wales, so they live out to the west of the country, and they were back for the weekend, so we were over at my mum and dad's where they stay, and spent some time with them, which was really nice. Yeah, so we had a really lovely time. So I decided I think I'm always going to start with the hoe. Yes, Cybill, with my historical object. So the hoe today is in the best way, a disaster. This has a very long history. I found this pattern, and I will show you the pattern because I prepared a bit today and got it up on my thing. So it's a pattern by Locatelli, who everyone should know. It's like a combo between a slipover and a jumper and whatever, and it's beautiful, and I wanted to knit it, there we go, because of the beautiful cable down the front. And there's a shot of the cable. So I started this when we lived in Norway. Bear in mind, we moved back from Norway in 2020. So this was another classic example of something that I knit. When I pulled it out the bag, I had done one full sleeve. So one full sleeve, and I had done, I think I'd half done this, like one, I don't know. There wasn't that far to go. I literally had a neck, because this has like a turtleneck, folded turtleneck. And I tried it on, and I had knit it too small. So I tried it on, and under the arm, it was, you know when it's really up in your armpit. I tried it on, and I didn't do anything with it for a long time. I got it out, I'd try it on, I'd look at it and be like, oh, because it was basically done. And obviously I'd done this cable, and I even remember when I was in Norway knitting it the first time, I went wrong on the cable, I think once, but I didn't realise till like 2 inches past it, so I had to rip it all the way back to do this cable. So I'd already known work had gone into it, and I was just, but I took it out the one day, and I was like, I can't. I actually cannot. And I took it out and did that at the beginning of about this time last year. And I had, or maybe earlier, but at the beginning of last year, and I frogged the whole thing. I wound it all into balls, and I said to myself, I need to make the same thing again though, but how am I going to wear it? I already had the wool, which is this, this Sandnes Garn, Gynt, and it is it smells like sheep. Lovely. And it is toothy, and it's 100% Norwegian wool. It is lovely, and the colour, so the colour is 3021, if you can actually see that. Not me. And it says either 3.5 or 4mm needle. It's 50 grams, you get 91 meters. Not bad. So it's like, it's a DK weight really. It's lovely and plump. It is lovely wool. But I obviously had bought this in Norway, and I was like, I've only got this amount of yarn, so I want to make it, but I don't know if I do a bigger size, if I'm going to have enough wool. And I was worried about different balls from different dye batches and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, what can I do? So I thought, I love the pattern and I love the look of it. Maybe I'll adapt it into more of a slipover. So give it a cap sleeve instead of a full sleeve. And then I give myself that extra wool to make the garment bigger. Bear in mind what I said about the wool and it being in different dye batches, and that was my worry. And by the way, I've got a whole blinking 5 gram ball there. So I'm just going to show you it now. Only reason I'm showing you this also as a hoe, and it's not probably not technically a historic object, really, it's more of a finished object. I literally finished it yesterday. Do you know what finishing it was? I finished this at the beginning of like last year, by the summer last year. I hadn't put buttons. I don't particularly actually like this button. I think it's too big. But to finish it, to wear it, because I haven't worn it yet, I needed to put buttons on the side. And I did that yesterday so that I could show you this as a finished slash hoe. So you are my motivation. Anyway, so this is what I have. Now, looking at this now, I know that every one of you, I will hold it here. Then I will show you the back side. Now, can you see this lovely little line? And there's a line there. And there's a lovely big wodge here. How the hell is that a different colour? Or a different shade? Not once when I took out this garment as it was made before did I notice any difference in shade. I have no idea what I have done or what has happened. But bear in mind what I said about the wool, and I ended up with an issue with obviously something from a different dye batch. Anyway, but pattern is beautiful. I advise anybody to do it. It's lovely. So when I see the button at the side, and I've actually adapted this, so I'll walk you through it. But let's just have a look at the lovely cable. Isn't it lovely? I don't know why I don't knit more cables. I've knit a couple of hats with cables. I would love a cable jumper. I love knitting cables. They're so nice, and the things that are textured are my jam. So I really don't know why I don't knit more of them. So you, as far as I can remember, you do, so it's almost like raglan, but these are like cable raglan increases. I don't know if you can see. It's beautiful. I really love this. I'd love to do another project with this on the sleeve because I think it's a really nice detail on those increases there. So yeah, and then you split for the front and the back because you essentially just knit a flap for the front and a flap for the back. And then you have a buttonhole to put your button on there, and that's kind of what keeps that side together, but it's sort of open and loose, which is really nice. I think this would make a really nice maternity kind of jumper, you know, because you've got a bit of extra room. You could adapt it so that the front actually is longer and it kind of goes. But anyway, so cap sleeve, I can't even tell you what I did. It looks like I've knit an inch, if that, and then done an inch of 2x2 rib on both sides, and I literally just did a rolled hem for this. Again, this is going to be a garden outside walking the dog thing. I should start wearing it now, really. I know you've got your kind of rib all the way down the bottom. It is a beautiful, beautiful pattern, and I am just sad that I kind of butchered it, to be honest. I love it in its own way, but this again means a lot to me. I had frogged it and it was balled up, and my dad, so about, well, not quite this time last year, at the end of April is when he first got sick, and I just thought he had a sickness bug, and then it turned into much worse. So when I was visiting my dad, this was the first thing that I was knitting. So I think I'd already started knitting it, but this was what I was knitting, and had finished this while he was in hospital. Excuse me. So there's another knit that got me through, and it was quite quick really because it's DK weight, knits up quick. Yeah, it was another distraction that got me through being with Dad. And actually the cable is not, it's not difficult, and because it was just on the front, it was just the right amount of needing to kind of concentrate, bit of interest, but not too much, and I didn't go wrong this time. So yeah, I'm happy with it. I just can't believe I've got this massive wodge of colour that's different. So if I remember, I'll quickly try and put it on maybe later and put like a picture of me here. If not, that's just me pointing at nothing, wearing it. So I think it's really nice top. Anyway, so that is my historical object. It's not really that historical because I put the buttons on yesterday, but I regret the button choice. Maybe it's fine. I don't know. Having a lot of self-doubt about my knitting stuff at the moment. Right, I'm just going to move my leg because I'm sat on it. And my hip doesn't like it when I do that. Okay, I'm going to have another sip. I just want to... I am a mug fan. I did not have the best mug to show you last. Well, I did because it's Colombo and I love Colombo. But this beautiful mug, and it's the right size mug. Mug should be almost the size of your head. This, my daughter got me for Mother's Day from her favourite garden centre. And they were really kind because they let her off for the quid that she didn't have to buy it for me. How sweet is that? We are there quite a lot though, so they know us quite well. Thank you for bearing with. Right, what next? Finished objects. I have one finished object to show you. I also have been living a lie, an absolute lie. I will show you the finished objects. They are my very boring utility mittens. They are the Tin Can Knits World's Simplest Mitten, I think it's called. I think that's a very kind of washing the colour out a bit actually. It looks more like that next to my face. I love them. They've knit up how I want them to. They come all the way down here. They're nice and tight on my hand. I hate anything that is saggy or flops, or you know when you do that and you get, no, these are nice and tight, good mittens. They've been washed and everything, but they will go away till next year. But the reason why I have been living a lie is that I told you last time that the colour was pistachio, and I love pistachios. This is not pistachio. I made that up. I don't even know when I made that up, because when I looked on the ball band the other day, just perchance, it said avocado. I do not like avocados. And I don't know how I feel about these mittens, to be honest, but they'll suffice for the winter next winter. So that's my finished object. Like I said to you last time, they call for a shorter cuff. I do a longer cuff because I like a longer cuff. it just means more ribbing. But it goes quick because these are knit on, I think they're supposed to be knit on a 3.25 for the cuff and a 3.75 for the hand. I knit them on a 3 and a 3.5. Sorry, my neighbour just walked past. Because that's the gauge I like to knit them at. So they're done and they're lovely and they will be fine. I'm just sad that it's avocado and not pistachio, which is not the end of the world. Oh, I wanted to show you something. Sorry for clanging my little box. I wanted to show you something so cute that I forgot to show you last week. My sister-in-law got me this for my birthday in February. Maybe my sister-in-law and my brother, I don't know, but probably just my sister-in-law. Can you see this beautiful acorn? And it's got like a great big lobster claw thing. But there's more. I'll show you. This is a pot. What? I hear you say. So this is how you unscrew things. And then inside, I don't know if you can see. I'm not even gonna be able to hold them up to show you because they're so tiny. It's like these little ring stitch markers. And actually, when I did, I'm going to do that really annoying thing where I do that. That doesn't, it made no difference. When I was doing the mittens, I used them and they were really handy because they're so thin and light and lovely for marking where I was doing my thumb gusset. That was really cute. So how cute. Love it. Really nice. And obviously I love the outside and trees and whatever, so this is very appropriate. So thank you to my beautiful husband for getting me that. Right, what have I got to show you? Let's look at, so last time I showed you my Petite knit weekend slipover that I'm making. I think when I showed you last, I had connected the body up. I was complaining about that one of the lines had one extra bit of black on it than the other side and blah 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 blah. This is another, maybe I should give up making slips or vests, whatever you want to call them, slipovers, vests, because not having the best time. I think this is more because I was just like, I need to knit something with this wool, and I just did a thing and then I've just done it, and now I'm kind of like, oh, but I actually really want to wear this, so I'm very conflicted by the whole process, to be honest. I feel like I need to make one of these again, but with like just a neutral wool and do it properly, because I haven't done this properly at all. So I will show you where I'm at. It's too big as well, by the way. I've made it too big. I could have gone down a needle size, but like I said, it's for the garden. I don't really care, although I obviously do care a little bit, but it is what it is. So it looks very wide and then very short, but that's because I've made it too wide. So now you can't see me, not that you need to see me. So this is it so far. I actually really like and am enjoying the stripes and the way that obviously they both kind of change, grade themselves, you know, from darker to lighter is quite nice. Although like this patch down here kind of annoys me because you can't tell the difference between them very much, but whatever, just wearing it in the garden, it's fine. So the pattern calls for, I'm just going to rest it here, once you've done this rib, it's quite a big rib. I feel like it's 6 centimeters she asked for, which, and then she wants you to do double knitting for the 2 rows and then do Italian bind off. There is no fucking way, excuse my French, I am doing that in this wool You cannot see it. The mistake I did make was that I was finishing off the bottom of this late at night. I was like, that's it, that's enough rib. I've had enough. I'm just going to bind it off. And I just did a normal bind off. I didn't do a stretchy bind off. It is fine. I just would have probably have thought about it a bit more if it wasn't late at night and done a more stretchy bind off. But it's fine for the purposes it's going to be used for. Again, I have one. Sorry, these are all the ends that I haven't sewn in yet. I finished one of the kind of, it's not even a sleeve, a capped bit. Again, she calls for it to be bigger and to double knit and to Italian bind off. I really loosely bound this off and it's a lot better. I did not do as much ribbing as she suggested. I could be bothered, basically. What would be really nice on the pattern if you could see it, but again, you can't see the decrease, so it makes no difference in this linking wool. You do a central double decrease, a CDD in the bottom, which I think my sister-in-law learnt this Easter as well because it was in her pattern. And that was the other thing. They were there at the weekend and I'm like, oh, we're going to do our knitting together because she's the reason why I knit everything. It's her fault. All of this is her fault, in the nicest way. And I was sat there knitting this while she had, and I'll have to get her to show you one day, she was knitting this beautiful jumper, I think it was a jumper, in this beautiful wool. It is gorgeous. And I'm there knitting my shitty little vest in my shitty blinking wool. Excuse the French again. But yeah, anyway, done that one. I did, she calls for 10 CDD decreases. I did 7. I got to 7 and went, that's enough, I'm done. So I think I've done 2 or 3. I'll do the same on there. The neck is like, she just does a rib for really long, but this wool is not going to stay up. It's so drapey and floppy. But I do want it to be up. I don't want this to, so I don't know. I'm just going to pick it up and I'll go and we'll see next time. Hopefully it'll be finished what I end up doing, but God knows at this point. So yeah, this is where we're at. It's fine for the garden. What I keep telling myself. I'm quite enjoying it. It's just the I don't know, the wool. That kind of wool is just made for doing something plain and stocking it and whatever. So doing like the rib and all of that is just driving me a bit nuts. So I just kind of want to get it done in that way. So that's Weekend Slipover by Petite Knit. I'm almost there. Let's go. I got my socks that I showed you last time. To be honest, there is little to no progress. I think I'd showed you. I think I've literally done a couple of rows. My emergency car knitting socks are coming on nicely, so really I should have bought those to show you. I will show you those when I finish them. But yeah, I'm really liking this wool and the texture. The waffle, because I'm doing, like I showed you before, I'm doing a waffle. Just a bit of a textured sock, just to liven that one up a bit. Kind of makes it go a bit quicker when you're doing your rounds. Tell you what else, I'm just going to show you the socks I'm wearing. These. I can't remember what the wool was. I wore these for a whole day the other week and I walked the dog and I've been out in the garden. And it's really quite, it is sock. It's like a king cole or something, I don't know, sock wool. And my feet, I couldn't decide whether my feet felt numb, like whether they were like tingly numb or it was a sock. So I took the socks off and left my feet out for a while. I think it was a sock. So I don't know what it is about this wool. Because it's, even where it's, I don't know if it will soften as it washes, but it's quite toothy actually for like a, you know, what I would call kind of like, it's an acrylic, but it's not an acrylic, kind of, you know, like that mass-produced kind of wool. So I don't know if anyone else has had that. It makes their feet feel weird, but Another bag. I think this might actually have been my first ever knitting bag, and I don't have a lot of knitting bags actually. I'm not entirely sure why really. I think it's probably a good strategy because it limits. I lie and say it limits my ability to have too many whips, but it's not true, obviously, because then I find lots of little organza drawstring bags everywhere, and yeah, no, I'm literally lying to myself by saying that. Right, this isn't what that is. See, this is my problem. I've got ball bands from projects I finished for like a year and a half ago in here. Oh, that's where my counter is. Right, this was my bedtime project. This is just an acrylic wall. I cannot remember what it's called. I think it's... I'm not even going to pretend to remember what this is. It was like one of these changing acrylic-y walls. I got some because they were cheap and on sale. They were cheap and on sale. Is there anything else I need to say? They were cheap and on sale. And, you know, it spoke to my colour palette. And I was like, I don't know, I could just make anything out of it. I think I've got another ball of this somewhere as well. And I made my daughter, there was like a pinky purple version that I made her a cardigan with. Again, another one of my problems. It's kind of twofold, really. She grows far too quickly. Since having her heart transplant, her growth rate has been ridiculous, but she also hit that time of life where I think they grow quick anyway, so it was just double fold. And then I have a real problem. So the Lemongrass Locatelli thing, I finished that ages ago. All I had to do was put buttons on. Just sits there, I don't put the buttons on. Same with this cardigan. I made this cardigan for her in the colour she wanted. She loves it. It's all pink and purpley and girly. And I hadn't put buttons on it. And then it just gets underneath the pile of things. And I found it when I was clearing stuff, tidying stuff up in the bedroom the other week. And tried it on, and it's like up here on her arms. So she's never worn it. It doesn't even have buttons on it. If anyone's got a solution, and don't say put the buttons on as soon as you finished it, because that is obvious, and I still don't do that. Anyway, right. I digress. This has taken me forever, and it's because of the stitch that I'm using. I'm doing linen stitch. It's very crumpled because it's been, obviously, it's linen stitch. Oh, I wish it wasn't so crumpled. It would look a bit nicer. It's been in this bag for so long. But I do quite like the gradient and how the wool changes and the texture of it is lovely. And if you've done linen stitch, I've done a lot of linen stitch bookmarks. It's a very stiff, it's almost like a, you know, woven fabric. I did this because this is a cushion cover, or will be a cushion cover, and all the way round cushion cover. I think it will just be a tuck in and maybe a button or two on it. Oh, there we go, button or two. It will never go on a cushion. So yeah, you know, when you kind of fold it around, yeah. So I need to knit some more. I've had the cushion to have this on it for a very long time. It's taken me a long time. And when speaking to people at my knitting group, one in particular was like, just knit it, just do the thing, stop avoiding it. Yes, that is what I should do, but I avoid it all the time. And it's because of the linen stitch and because I'm knitting it on metal needles. And really the linen stitch is kind of interesting because it's kind of slightly different from front to back. I mean, this is the back of the material, which is also really nice because it's just super textured, so you could have it either way. I did linen stitch because I wanted to embroider like a word on it or something. I was going to put kutch, which I think I explained last time was a Welsh word for hug or cuddle. So I don't know, jury's out on what I'm going to write on it. Maybe I'll just do it that side and have the textured side. But yeah, so I need to, I don't think I need to knit all of the rest of the ball that's left there, but I just need to get on with it. But it hurts my hands if I do too much of it, and then I've just built it into this thing and I'm avoiding it now. But I really, really want the cushion on the sofa, so maybe I should, when I finish my slipover, make this a priority and say I can't cast anything else on until I've knit this. Also a lie I'm telling myself. Yeah, so that's my cushion cover. But yeah, I haven't actually got that many whips on at the moment. I'm trying to be good. I'm trying to finish like big things before I cast on another big thing, because I'll just get a bit overwhelmed, and then you kind of end up never I feel like I'm never going to have any of the things I'm making because it's just going to take me so long. So yeah, I think that's Slipover is so close to being done. I could finish a sleeve today and pick up. I hate picking up. That's the other thing, bloody pain in the ass with that wool as well, picking up. So I'm going to pick it all up, and then hopefully maybe by the end of the weekend I'll almost be there. We'll see. Yeah, I think that's the only like whip things really that I've got on the go. I was going to talk about my jumper again because me and my sister-in-law spoke about it, but I think I'll save that for the next podcast because maybe I would have cast it on. I don't know. I really want to cast it on, but I'm so scared. But I think I'll talk about that next time. What I will do and show you is I have been, well, this is part of acquisitions actually. So here we go. I said to you I bought stuff the other week and I didn't show you what it was. Right, so acquisitions plans. I haven't knit anything in cotton for a very long time. I kind of forget that I've knit stuff before. A long time ago I knit a cotton jumper. It was like grey, white stripes. It had like a mustard section at the top. I think it was a Rowan pattern. I think if I knit it now, it would feel different. I think I knit it too tight of a gauge and it felt too stiff. Actually, it was really a jumper that I really want, and I actually love cotton jumpers in the summertime are like my favourite. So I wanted to try again. I'm a little bit scared that like with the linen stitch and what I'm knitting it with, that it might hurt my hands, but I don't know until I try. So we're going to try. So I thought a smaller project that will knit up a bit quicker, so maybe I can judge what my hands are going to be like then. So let me see if I can find it. There was a sale on Guest Stitch Drops, and so I was a bit like, what can I knit that's small and whatever. So I looked at vest tops, and I looked at this vest top. Let's just see. So the Sailor Swift top, which I'm sure everyone knows, by Veronika Lindberg. She has beautiful patterns. Lovely. It's got really nice And the back's really nice. It's just a really nice top. There's obviously negative ease. At this point in time, I'm not hugely comfortable with the thought of wearing a tank top that's negative ease. I like things to be looser. That's just my personal preference at the moment. But I looked at that and thought, my daughter, she's 11, but she's massive, and actually the extra small will be good for her, and she can kind of grow into it a bit as well. But she is a pink girl. So I was like, would you like that? And what colours would you like? So she obviously picked pink. Anyway, the miracle is that I swatched, and I'm still swatching. So for Evie's top, needed to be fingering. So this is the Drops Saffron. It's 100% cotton. I think it calls for a 3mm needle. Yes, it does. It's 50 grams, 160 meters. Really, actually feels really nice. I like it. So there's this color, which is 18. I think it was like an off-white. It wasn't a white. It's like a creamy white. And then I don't know where the ball is. I think it's in my bag. It's in, this is, yeah. It's in here. And then this pink. It's washing it out a bit there. That's a bit more true to the color here. It's very Barbie. This is what she wants. Because it's just a thin stripe in the pink, I was like, I'm not doing a striped swatch. I'm not going that far. So I just swatched in a pink. I haven't blocked it out yet. So it's just a swatch in the pink. It's lovely and drapey though. It actually feels really nice. It's really washing it out. This is more true to colour. So yeah, I'm hoping maybe that'll be cast on as well. This is my problem now. I've got a few patterns I want to do, and because they're in my head little patterns, I can cast them all on. So yeah, that's for her. And then I also swatched for me, not for the same top, a different top. Yes, it's black. No, I'm not insane. I know the pain of knitting in black. I knit my daughter some DK, like thicker black socks for school to wear in her boots. It's a daytime project, not a nighttime project, but I'm at the right time of year for it. This is, God, I've got too many things now. So it's Drops again, of course it is, because it was all on sale. Drops Bell, which I thought was quite appropriate, because if you, in the first podcast I explained that I get called Belle or Bella a lot, so, but not spelled like this without the extra E, but Belle. This is a DK, the pattern I'm doing, I will show you that I'm swatching for. It's DK weight. 4mm needle, 50 grams, 120 meters. Color number 8 is black, people. I'll show you the pattern that I'm swatching for. This was more my kind of summer top. Now, I didn't realize until I downloaded the pattern, there's actually 2 versions, and I will show you. So, the one in the orange has got like a ribbed top, and the one in the white does not. So then it's just kind of goes straight into stockinette rather than a section of rib and then stockinette, which makes, she says, it falls more and it drapes more. And until I actually looked at the pattern I downloaded, I didn't realize. So there's one that's done in black without the ribbing, and I think that's really nice. I want to look that elegant. That won't happen, but I shall try. So yeah, I swatched for that. Still haven't blocked that either. Feels nice and drapey too, quite light. This has got linen in it. This isn't 100% cotton. This is 53% cotton, 33% viscose, and 14% linen. I hate being hot. Anything above 22 degrees and I'm done. So Yeah, I feel like this is fine, like it's not too airy. This was done, I'll explain maybe next podcast, but something I've developed now, and I think I've seen it on the Grocery Girls knits podcast. When they do their swatches on their tails, they add some knots so that they know what size needle they have done their swatch in, because some people don't do that. So I know this is a 4mm needle. Get me? So I swatched for that. I don't know if I'm engaged or not because I haven't blocked it and I haven't looked at it, but swatching in itself for me is a huge deal that I even did that. So take your wins. 1 second, I'm going to have a sip of this. Sorry, and thank you. And then one that I am swatching. So I said to you, I went to Susanne again with my little big girl. And this is the wool that she got, that I got. It's 100% cotton. Let me check before I, yes it is, before I yeah, it's 100% cotton, 2.5 to 3 millimeter needle, 50 grams to 160, so that's the same as the saffron drops. I can't remember how much this was. It was £2 something a ball, which is, you know, that's a good yardage for what you get. This could be washed at 60. I mean, that's kind of crazy to me. What I am currently doing is I'm not even swatching for any pattern in particular. I'm just swatching for the wool because this is so readily available. I thought, do you know what, if I just get the urge and want to make a jumper or anything or whatever, maybe I should do this holding double as well, so it's like DK. That's a good idea. I will swatch for it so that I know what my gauge is, and then I can just find a pattern that is the gauge. So I've been doing this on, ironically, not ironically, my bamboo needles that I have got from Sister and Grena. These are the ones I said in the UK you can't find. Maybe it's just the little stores that I'm in. I can't find the smaller needles like I would in Norway. So these are 2.5s, which I've not been able to find here. But they're DPNs, but I have I got these little like stitch stoppers, needle stoppers, toppers, whatever, ages ago. Oh God, what am I doing? Look, little Highland Q. Oh, they look so washed out. That's how brown they are. So yeah, those are my solution to making them just little straight needles. It's just cute, although they make them a bit heavy. So what I'm going to do is, this is currently, I've got to work out how I'm going to knot for 2.5. I'm just going to do some more 2.5. Then I'm just going to do a kind of row of purl and then do it in the 3. So then I've got a double whammy gauge. And then, as I've just literally formulated the idea to you 2 minutes ago, I will hold double and do a different one and see what my gauge is on that. It feels really nice. To be honest with you, this feels nicer than either of those walls. And this is 100% cotton. This feels softer than the drop saffron that I'm doing Yuli's top with. So I don't know, we'll see as I knit that up and as it gets washed and blocked what it's like. But yeah, so that's kind of, I've done lots of done lots of bits and bobs. Yeah, so we're kind of at the end of that, really. That's all the things, my acquisition. So I wanted to give you a bit more of an in-depth chat about walking, because last time I kind of left you with a go for a walk. If you can do anything for yourself, go for a walk. And I can't speak highly enough of walking, just in terms of everything, body health together, everything. So when we go for a walk, our body and our brain there's just like a cascade of like biochemicals that just get released, and they're life enhancing. That they actually coined the term hope. I'm gonna just check. Yeah, hope molecules. I thought I was making it up. The scientists have, coined the term hope molecules, because that is what, when you move your body, when you walk, that is the things that are released into your body. And sorry, phone's going off. And I'm looking down because this next word is long, and I want to make sure I say it right. But one of these things that gets released in your body when you go for a walk is called, or they are, those kind of particular things are called endocannabinoids. And apparently so called because they have the similar kind of act on your body as taking said thing in the middle of that word. They act as a pain alleviator. They also break that blood and brain barrier, and they kind of almost act like a mild sedation, as well as so they build things like euphoria and stuff like that on a low level. So then obviously if you've got any anxiety and stuff like that, you're kind of tipping the balance the other way again. So you're making your anxiety quieten and making that euphoria, you're kind of lessening any pain that's within your body. Because, and this is the other thing, for years you think that if you're sick and unwell and this and the other, being still and being inside and resting, there's different kinds of rest. Walking slowly and mindfully is still a form of rest, but you're literally healing your body as you're walking, if you're able to. So one of the other things that was really amazing about all these things that gets released are there are molecules, chemicals that get released that reduce brain inflammation that you have, that aid your brain's ability to rejuvenate, so to shut off certain connection synapses and things like that aren't working, and to make new ones, which is kind of one of those things when you go for a walk, sometimes you have those aha moments because you're allowing, there's different things in there, but all these things allow your brain to move and develop. Apparently it improves memory. I go for a lot of walks, and as we have established, my memory is not great. So maybe they should come do some probing on my brain. But anyway, so I'm still looking down at this to make sure I don't miss anything. There's also dopamine, serotonin. We all know about those. They're all a bit buzzwords at the moment. But there's one that is, my phone's, sorry, it's really annoying. Let's just make that be quiet. Shush now. So there's one, and I'm going to look and make sure I say this right as well, because I look at words. Does anyone else do this? When you read things to yourself, you just say a word how you think it is, and then you carry on reading and you say it to yourself, and then you realize when you've got to say it out loud to people that you may have been saying the most ridiculous pronunciation of that word, and it's not actually how you say that word. So I had to look up to make sure I say this word properly, because I don't think I was. Maybe I was saying it right. I don't know. Anyway, so there's a really important one that is kind of newly important now that they called irisin, and that was shown to improve heart health, to improve metabolism, but also more recently it's been shown to help get rid of the plaque on the brain that's associated with Alzheimer's. So it's another thing that shows like walking throughout your life will aid you in all the ways. That literally, that one chemical molecule within you is doing numerous things to aid your longevity and your ability to live well, which I think's brilliant. So I particularly love walking in woodland area. It's something that I find very comforting. The things that have happened throughout our life and how that's affected me and my ability to function. Being in a woodland and enclosed, I feel supported and I feel held, and I feel like it gives to me without asking anything of me. Everybody will have points in their life, I think, where they prefer to be in one place or another place. So don't get me wrong, I love being there, but I love going out to see my brother and sister-in-law, and I mean they live not far from beaches and coasts and things like that. So I yearn for those kind of environments. I yearn to be, you know, to conquer a mountain or a peak or be up high. So there's different things, and actually there's some Swiss researchers that actually said a variety of places that you walk are the most beneficial to you being happier. I mean, and that could be down to the things that you get from those places, because your body reacts differently to different places that you walk. Your brain and mind react differently. It could also just be novelty of that, being somewhere new, it being different and exciting, which is amazing. But there's also the caveat to that, being shown by psychologists, that having somewhere that's comforting and familiar still plays a huge role in your kind of emotional self-regulation. So it's like, you know, it's that comfort blanket. And I kind of wanted to, I don't want to go on too long because whatever, but I appreciate you listening as well. Throughout the last however many years of my life, and if people don't realize, I briefly said on my podcast before, we moved back to the UK 2020. December 2020, we nearly lost our daughter, who was 6 at the time, to an unknown heart condition. She had a double cardiomyopathy that we had no idea about, and we nearly lost her that Christmas. And then leaving hospital, we're then waiting for her to have heart transplant, essentially. She got said heart transplant 2022. Throughout this process, things have, my dad nearly left us last year several times. He got incredibly poorly. My husband has developed PTSD. He has suffered with mental health, and so it's been a lot. The woods by us here, the forest by us here, I live in the Forest of Dean, have been an absolute sanctuary to me. And they have meant a huge amount to me, but they give me the space and the time to deal with the life that we lead. I just want to give you a short example of what has happened. So, of something recently that has happened, and where the woods have been, the woods and my journey through understanding myself and my mental health and what works and what doesn't work. So, my poor husband had a PTSD episode when he had tried to go out with a friend on a Sunday night, and it was the holidays, the beginning of the Easter holidays, so he was supposed to be at home with my daughter. But for him, if he has these episodes, and he's a lot better than he used to be, but we know it's 2 days minimum that he's kind of out for the count, basically. So my daughter could have gone to my parents' house, but my mum, bless her, she'd been sick, and with Evie's immune suppressant, we just, sickness and diarrhea and stuff is not something we can gamble with. So I had to take a day off work. I stayed at home, made sure everyone was okay, gave my husband the time he needed, the space he needed, and then arranged that for the Tuesday also, even though my dad had an appointment at the hospital and this, that, and the other. And so it was a lot of arranging. It was a lot of protecting my daughter from, protecting is the wrong word, but his ability to be patient and calm and non-reactive is difficult when he's in that recovery process. So trying to keep everybody happy and give everyone space in a small house and things like that. So I am loaded. I have a lot on me. And then I go to work on Tuesday and this, that, and the other. I'm looking down at my notes because I won't remember. I'd also missed my knitting group on a Tuesday because of everything that was going on. I knew I needed to be at home to support my husband and to be here to do things. Give me 1 minute. Bear with. It's getting cold now. So I had a plan. A lot of the time I would try and work out once or, well, 2 or 3 times a week if I can, when I can. My plan was I usually use my dog walk as my warming of the body before I get home and then do my workout. So I'd gone out with the dog and I had kind of a plan of what I wanted to do. As I was walking the dog and I'm giving myself that time, I wasn't rushing, I felt my body was heavy. It was also the week before menstruation, and I don't know how everyone else feels, but I am heavy. My body feels like lead, and I was just lethargic, and everything felt difficult. I've been carrying a bit of a sore throat since the weekend, kind of, you know, when it's not there, but it is there. Previously, years previously, I would have just pushed through all of these feelings and would be like, I need to exercise because I want my body to feel or look like this. And that's more important. I just push through, and then I would end up being poorly. Then I wouldn't exercise for weeks. Then I would self-berate myself. So you end up on this kind of cycle. But going for a walk, slowing myself down on that walk because I recognized that my body was feeling heavy and I wasn't feeling great. All of those things have taken time for me because I'm not the kind of person that this is natural for. Telling myself to do these things, to slow down, to then start noting what my body felt like while I was walking, what my day would look like if I didn't exercise, this, that, and the other. So the walk gave me the time and the space without all the other distractions and expectations and this and the other to go, actually, do you know what? My body is telling me that exercise is going to be too much today, but I know there's other jobs in the garden and this and the other that require me to move my body still. So I'm still using my body, I'm still moving my body, I'm still adding steps to my step count, which actually is the best way for you to, if you're trying to burn calories, actually steps, walking, moving your body rather than exercise. Proportionately, actually, you use more calories in a way. So yeah, that was my example really to you, is that walking allowed me and gave me the time to make a better choice for me, my brain and my body, because I have suffered several bouts of burnout in the past, and they've all been as a result of me feeling like I need to do all those things, and I find it really hard to give myself permission to not do all those things, and how to juggle what I need out of my days and what other people need of me. So yeah, I hope that helped. I hope that was beneficial. I will have some book selections, some book, what is the word I'm looking for? Recommendations. That is the word I'm looking for. Recommendations next time, I think. But I think what I'll do is I'll start going through maybe some of the different places you can walk and actually how your body and your brain react to those places differently. So I'm going to stop there because I've gone over the hour. I think the hour is a good place to kind of leave this. I'm going to try and crack on with some more knitting. It's Friday in our house, so it's pizza night, so I've got pizza bases to make. And then I've got to go get my little lady from school in about half an hour. So I hope you have a fabulous weekend, a fabulous week. Go for a walk. I will try and put everything I've spoken about in the show notes this time. I did not do that last time. I will see how we go. And you can find me on Instagram as Pinne Therapy, and there'll be some more bits on there. So yeah, like, subscribe, all that la-di-da. Have a great time. Go for a walk. Love ya. Bye.